The painful truth is this: the more you try to make her regret losing you, the more you prove you are still waiting for her to decide your worth. That is where most men lose themselves. They get hurt, they get ignored, they get replaced, they get treated like their effort meant nothing. Then instead of stepping back with self respect, they start dreaming about revenge. They imagine her crying, they imagine her missing them, they imagine her coming back saying she made a mistake. They imagine the day she finally understands what she lost. But a man does not heal by waiting for her regret. He heals by becoming a man who no longer needs her regret to respect himself. And that is what this is really about. When the title says let her burn in regret, it does not mean become cruel. It does not mean wish pain on her. It does not mean manipulate her, punish her, or turn into a bitter man who lives for revenge. That is weak. That is childish. That is still emotional dependence. It means let reality do what your chasing could never do. Let distance speak. Let silence speak. Let your absence speak. Let her experience life without your attention, without your comfort, without your emotional availability, without your loyalty in the background, without the man who kept showing up even when she gave less. And while reality speaks to her, you do not sit around waiting. You build. That is the part most men miss. They think silence is about her. It is not. Silence is about you. It is about whether you can stop chasing someone who chose distance. It is about whether you can control your emotions when your chest is heavy. It is about whether you can put the phone down when your hand wants to text. It is about whether you can stop checking her stories when your ego is begging for signs. It is about whether you can return to your body, your work, your money, your discipline, your faith in your future. That is where your power comes back. Not when she regrets it, when you stop needing her to, because when she left, pulled away, acted cold, or gave her energy somewhere else, something inside you wanted to do something immediately. You wanted to text, you wanted to explain, you wanted to remind her who you were. You wanted to say, you will regret this. You wanted to make sure she knew you cared. You wanted to send one last message that would make her feel the weight of what she was losing. But be honest, most of the time you did not want to send that message because it was wise. You wanted to send it because the silence hurt. You wanted relief. You wanted a reply. You wanted one sign that you still mattered. You wanted her reaction to stop the storm inside you. And that is where a man has to wake up. If one woman's response can decide your peace, then your peace is not yours yet. If her silence can destroy your routine, then your routine is not strong enough yet. If her distance can make you beg, then your self respect still needs training. That is not an insult. That is the truth that can rebuild you. A man does not regain respect by chasing. He regains power by staying calm when everything inside him wants to react. He regains power by stepping back when fear tells him to move closer. He regains power by controlling his emotions, rebuilding his life, and letting his actions speak louder than his pain. The goal is not to manipulate her into returning. The goal is not to make her suffer. The goal is not to become the kind of man who needs revenge to feel masculine. The goal is to become a man who no longer loses himself when someone walks away. Because if you are only silent to make her regret, she still controls the silence. If you are only rebuilding so she notices, she still controls the rebuilding. If you are only getting stronger so she comes back, she still controls your strength. If your healing depends on her burning in regret, you are not free. You are still emotionally tied to her reaction. A free man does not need revenge, he needs direction. That is the first shift. A weak man says, I hope she suffers. A strong man says, I hope I never abandon myself like that again. A weak man says, I want her to regret losing me. A strong man says, I want to become a man I never regret becoming. That is the difference, because the deepest damage was not only that she left, it was what you almost became trying to keep her: the overthinking, the checking, the begging, the apologizing for things that were not yours, the waiting, the comparison, the emotional hunger, the way one reply could lift you and one silence could destroy you. That is what has to end, not because of her, because of you. Now, I understand how regret actually works. Regret does not usually arrive when you are begging. Regret does not grow when you are explaining your worth. Regret does not deepen when you are chasing her attention. Regret grows through contrast. She has to experience the difference between having access to you and not having access to you. She has to experience life without your emotional safety, without your check ins, without your patience. Without your loyalty in the background, without your willingness to fix everything, without the man who always came closer when she pulled away. But if you keep giving her pieces of you after she chose distance, you remove the contrast. You keep giving comfort without commitment. You keep giving attention without clarity. You keep giving emotional access without respect. Then she never fully experiences what losing you means because you are still half present. That is why you step back completely, not to hurt her, to stop hurting yourself, not to make her burn, to stop setting yourself on fire for someone who is not choosing you clearly. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to send a goodbye essay. You do not need to tell her you will regret this. You simply stop participating in your own devaluation. That line matters. Stop participating in your own devaluation. If someone gives you distance, stop chasing. If someone gives you confusion, stop over explaining. If someone gives you crumbs, stop treating them like a meal. If someone gives you silence, stop sacrificing your peace trying to fill it. A man with self respect does not keep feeding a connection that is starving him. He steps back, and in stepping back, he recovers his center. Most men do the opposite. She gets cold and they get warmer. She replies less and they write more. She creates distance and they create pressure. She becomes unclear and they start proving. She gives less effort and they double their effort. They think, if I show her how much I care, she will remember. But care without self respect becomes pressure. Love without boundaries becomes weakness. Effort without mutual effort becomes desperation. And desperation does not create regret in the way you think. It may create guilt. It may create pity. It may create temporary attention, but guilt is not respect. Pity is not attraction. Temporary attention is not love. You do not want her to come back because she feels bad. You do not want her to reply because you forced emotion into her hands. You do not want her to miss you because you begged her to remember you. You want clarity. You want respect. You want peace. And if she cannot bring that, then her regret is not your mission. Your life is. Now, let us talk about social media because this is where many men secretly chase while pretending to be silent. They say they are not texting her, but they watch every story. They check who liked her post. They check who she followed. They ask mutual friends about her. They post gym photos for her reaction. They post quotes about loyalty, betrayal, or fake love. They post another woman to make her jealous. They try to look unbothered while being completely controlled by whether she sees it. That is not silence, that is texting without words. If your post is designed for her reaction, she still controls the post. If your workout is designed for her regret, she still controls the workout. If your silence is designed for her anxiety, she still controls the silence. If your growth is designed for her attention, she still controls the growth. Real growth belongs to you. It makes your life better even if she never sees it. That is how you know it is real. Train because your body deserves strength. Work because your future deserves options. Build money because a man with options moves differently. Fix your sleep because tired men make weak decisions. Deepen your faith or inner discipline because your peace needs a foundation. Control your emotions because you are tired of being led by pain. That kind of growth changes your energy, and energy is remembered, not fake energy, real energy, the kind that comes from keeping promises to yourself, the kind that comes from doing hard things while hurting, the kind that comes from not needing her reaction to keep going. That is what makes you different from the old version, and that difference is what may one day make her realize what she lost. But again, do not wait for that day. Build anyway, because a man who waits for regret is still waiting, and waiting is not rebuilding. Now, imagine the late night moment, because this is where most men break. During the day, you may feel strong. You work, you train, you tell yourself you are done, you stay busy, you act like you are moving forward, but at night the room gets quiet, your phone is close, the memories come back, you remember the way she used to talk to you, the way she used to look at you, the way she used to make you feel chosen, the private moments, the soft side, the messages that used to make your whole day better. Then the cold memories come back too, the distance, the short replies, the silence. The way she stopped trying, the way you started shrinking just to keep the connection alive. And suddenly your mind starts negotiating. Maybe I should text. Maybe she is waiting. Maybe she thinks I do not care. Maybe if I say the right thing, she will remember. Maybe I need closure. Maybe I should just send one small message. But be honest. Most of the time, you do not want to text because it is wise. You want to text because the pain is loud. You want relief. You want a reply. You want one sign you still matter. That is not love leading you. That is anxiety looking for medicine. A message sent from anxiety rarely brings peace. It creates another prison. Now you are waiting again. Now you are checking again. Now her reply controls your night again. If she responds warmly, you get addicted again. If she responds coldly, you crash. If she does not respond, you feel rejected all over again. Do not trade your dignity for a few minutes of relief. A strong man tells himself the truth before he acts. He says, I want to text because I feel anxious. Then he leads himself. He puts the phone down. He walks. He trains. He writes the message in notes, but he does not send it. He prays if faith is part of his life. He sleeps. He lets the emotional wave rise and fall without obeying it. Pain can be felt without being followed. You can miss her and still not text. You can care and still not chase. You can feel rejected and still not beg. You can want answers and still not reopen the wound. That is emotional control. And emotional control is what makes your silence real. Because anyone can disappear when they are angry. Anyone can stay quiet for a few days when pride is high. Anyone can say, I am done when their ego feels strong. But can you stay grounded when loneliness hits? Can you stay disciplined when she posts something? Can you keep your routine when your mind imagines her moving on? Can you stop yourself before doing something your future self will regret? That is where a man is built, not in the easy moment, in the moment where his old weakness is calling him back. Now, here's your 7 day reset. For 7 days, do not message her first from panic. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends about her. Do not post to get her attention. Do not post to make her jealous. Do not make emotional decisions at night. Do not reread old messages until your chest hurts. Do not send a soft message when what you really want is reassurance. Put that energy into training, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and rebuilding your identity. Train your body even when your mind is heavy. Clean your room even when your emotions feel messy. Fix your sleep because tired men make weak decisions. Eat properly because heartbreak drains your focus. Walk when the urge to check hits. Write what you want to say, but do not send it from panic. Put your phone away before midnight. Build your day before your emotions build it for you. This is not about pretending you do not care. It is about proving that her silence does not own you. Every time you do not chase, you rebuild self trust. Every time you do not check, you rebuild control. Every time you do not ask about her, you rebuild dignity. Every time you keep your routine while hurting, you become stronger. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. You said you would not beg, do not beg. You said you would not chase, do not chase. You said you would not abandon your standards, do not abandon them. That is how a man becomes solid. And a solid man is not easily pulled back into chaos. Now, why does this affect her more than your words ever could? Because words can be argued with, distant has to be experienced. If you send a paragraph saying you lost a good man, she can dismiss it. If you tell her you will regret this, she can call it ego. If you beg, she can feel pressure. If you over explain, she can feel tired. But when you step back, stop chasing, stop checking, stop feeding the old pattern, and start rebuilding, there is nothing to argue with. There is just absence, clean absence, and absence creates space for reality. Maybe she feels it, maybe she does not. Maybe she misses you, maybe she moves on, maybe she regrets it. Maybe she never says a word, but your job is not to monitor her reaction. Your job is to become a man whose life no longer depends on it. That is the real power. Because if she regrets losing you, but you are still weak, what did you gain? If she misses you but you are still broken, what did you gain? If she comes back but you hand her your peace immediately, what did you gain? Nothing. You only got another chance to lose yourself. That is why getting yourself back matters more than getting her back. A man who gets himself back can handle both outcomes. If she comes back, he does not rush. If she apologizes, he observes. If she brings clarity, he listens. If she brings confusion, he steps back. If she never comes back, he keeps walking. That is freedom. Now let us talk about what she may regret. She may regret losing your patience. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But when someone else gets irritated where you stayed calm, when someone else misunderstands what you used to understand, when someone else only wants the easy version of her, she may remember that you tried to see the whole person. But do not chase that memory. Let it come or not come. You build. She may regret losing your emotional safety. Maybe she did not appreciate it because it was always there. Maybe she got used to your comfort. Maybe she assumed your support would always be close. Maybe she thought your care was normal because you gave it naturally. But when comfort is removed, people sometimes realize how much they relied on it. Do not wait for that build. She may regret losing your consistency because inconsistent attention can look exciting at first. It can feel thrilling, it can feel new. But over time, inconsistency becomes exhausting. A steady man may not always feel dramatic, but his presence creates peace. Peace is often underestimated until it is gone. Do not explain that to her. Live your life. She may regret losing the version of you that genuinely wanted to build something real. Many people want attention. Fewer people want responsibility. Many people want chemistry. Fewer people want commitment. Many people want the fun version of love. Fewer people know how to stay steady when life gets hard. If you are a man who genuinely wanted something real that has value, but value should not beg to be recognized, it should walk when it is not respected. Now, another hard truth. She may never regret it. And you have to be strong enough to accept that too, because a lot of men say they want self respect, but they still want the story to end with her suffering. They want the perfect ending. She leaves. He goes silent. He gets stronger. She realizes she lost him. She comes back crying. He gets to feel powerful. That story feels good. But life does not always move like a script. Sometimes she moves on. Sometimes she does not understand. Sometimes she never apologizes. Sometimes she stays proud. Sometimes she thinks she did the right thing. Sometimes she feels regret but never says it. Sometimes she contacts you years later. Sometimes she never contacts you again. And if your peace depends on which version happens, you are not free. A man with real self respect says, her regret is not required for my recovery. That sentence will make you strong. Her regret is not required for your recovery. Her apology is not required for your growth. Her return is not required for your worth. Her sadness is not required for your peace. Your life can still become strong, disciplined, focused, and meaningful without her giving you emotional confirmation. That is masculine maturity. Now, if she does reach out, this is where many men fail. They do the hard part, they stay silent, they rebuild a little, they sleep better, they feel some peace. Then her name appears on the phone. Hey, how are you? I was thinking about you. I miss you. Can we talk? And suddenly, the old man wakes up. He replies too fast. He writes too much. He asks if she missed him. He tries to force clarity. He pours months of pain into one conversation. He acts like he has been waiting by the phone the whole time. And she feels it. She feels the hunger. She feels the pressure. She feels that his silence was not growth, it was waiting. Do not be that man. A small message is not a full return. A hey is not accountability. And I miss you is not changed behavior. A late night text is not emotional maturity. A story view is not love. A woman touching the door is not the same as a woman walking through it with clarity. If she says, hey, you can say, hey, hope you're doing well. That is enough. If she says, I miss you, you can say, I hear you. What made you reach out? If she says, I've been thinking about us, you can say, I understand. What do you want to do with that? If she says, can we talk? You can say, we can talk, but I am not rushing back into anything. These are not games. They are calm boundaries. They show openness without desperation. They invite clarity without begging. They protect your peace without attacking her. A real return can handle patience. A fake return usually cannot. If she genuinely wants to reconnect, she will respect your pace. If she only wants emotional access, she may disappear when she realizes you are not easy anymore. Let that happen. You need truth more than temporary comfort, because temporary comfort can pull you back into the same cycle that broke you. Truth sets you free. Now, if she comes back with guilt, stay centered. She may say, so you just stopped caring? She may say, you changed. She may say, you used to fight for me. She may say, you moved on fast. Do not let guilt drag you back into the old pattern. You can care and still step back. You can love and still have boundaries. You can miss her and still refuse confusion. You can forgive and still move slowly. That is maturity. If she says, you changed, you can say, I had to. The old version of me kept losing himself. If she says, you do not care anymore, you can say, I care, but I am not chasing confusion anymore. If she says, why are you acting different? You can say, I am being more careful with my peace. That is enough. Do not over explain. Do not defend your growth for an hour. Do not let her turn your boundary into a debate. A man with a center speaks clearly, then watches behavior, because behavior tells the truth. If she respects your boundary, that is information. If she mocks it, that is information. If she takes accountability, that is information. If she only wants access without responsibility, that is information. Do not fear information. Fear ignoring it because fantasy feels better. Now, if she comes back with real accountability, do not punish her. Some men finally get attention back and become arrogant. They act cold. They say, "Now you want me." They try to make her feel small because she hurt them. That is not strength. That is pain pretending to be power. A strong man does not need revenge to feel masculine. If she comes with clarity, listen. If she comes with humility, observe. If she comes with consistent effort, allow trust to build slowly. But do not rush. Forgiveness can happen in a moment. Trust takes time. Do not confuse the two. If she apologizes, receive it calmly, but watch behavior. If she says she misses you, hear it, but watch consistency. If she wants to talk, talk, but do not throw away your peace. That is how a mature man moves. Now, if she comes back with confusion, step back. If she says, "I miss you, but I do not know what I want," do not become her emotional waiting room. If she says, "I care, but I am not ready," do not give full access to uncertainty. If she reaches out at night but disappears in the morning, do not chase. If she wants comfort without responsibility, step back. A man with self respect does not build his peace on maybe. Maybe can have space. Maybe can have observation. Maybe does not get your whole heart. That is how you protect yourself. Now, if she is with someone else and reaches out, your standard must be clear. Do not become the hidden option. Do not become the man she texts when another man disappoints her. Do not become emotional backup while she gives her time and presence somewhere else. Do not let your heart become a spare room in another relationship. If she says she misses you but is still involved with someone else, you could say, "I understand, but I am not going to be involved while you are with someone else." That is clean, that is mature, that is self respect. No anger, no begging, no triangle. If she wants him, let her choose him fully. If she wants a serious conversation with you, she needs to be clear, available, and respectful. A man with standards does not stand in the shadows waiting to be chosen. He stands in clarity or he walks away. That is the standard. Now, ask yourself the question that cuts through revenge. Do you want her regret because she was truly good for your peace? Or do you want her regret because it would heal the wound of rejection? Do you want a healthy connection? Or do you want proof that you were enough? Do you miss her character? Or do you miss the version of yourself you felt like when she wanted you? Do you want love? Or do you want your ego repaired? These questions matter because sometimes a man does not want the woman back. He wants the rejection reversed. He wants the silence to end. He wants one message to prove he still matters. He wants her regret to make his pain feel justified, but that is not healing. That is still being controlled by the wound. Real healing is when you no longer need her regret to feel valuable. Real healing is when you no longer need her return to respect yourself. Real healing is when you can say, if she comes back with clarity and respect, I will listen. If she does not, I will keep walking. That is freedom. And freedom is stronger than revenge because what good is her regret if you are still not at peace? What good is her return if you are still desperate? What good is her apology if you abandon your boundaries the moment she says the right words? Do not win her attention and lose yourself again. That is not victory. Now, do not become heartless. Do not use this pain as an excuse to hate women. Do not say all women are the same. Do not become cruel because someone hurt you. Do not turn regret into revenge. That is not masculine. That is pain controlling your personality. A mature man learns the lesson without poisoning his heart. He says, "I will not chase confusion again." He does not say, "I will never care again." He says, "I will protect my peace." He does not say, "All women are bad." He says, "I will choose better, move slower, and respect myself more." That is growth. Do not let heartbreak make you smaller. Let it make you wiser. You can still love deeply. You can still be loyal. You can still be warm. You can still care. But now your love needs boundaries. Your loyalty needs standards. Your warmth needs discernment. Your care needs self respect. Because love without self respect becomes suffering. And suffering is not proof of love. Sometimes it is proof that you stayed too long in a place where you were no longer being met. Now, if she never burns in regret, you still win if you become the man this silence is creating. This is the part most men avoid because they want the story to end with her suffering. But the highest proof is not her pain. The highest proof is your peace. Can you sleep without her reply? Can you train without needing her to notice? Can you work without checking your phone every 10 minutes? Can you stop asking about her? Can you feel sadness without turning it into begging? Can you remember her without reopening the wound? Can you love deeply without losing your frame? That is success because a man who can do that is no longer easy to break. He is harder to manipulate, harder to pull into chaos, harder to make insecure, harder to treat like an option, harder to replace with temporary attention. That man is attractive because he is not desperate for attraction. He has direction. And direction is one of the strongest things a man can have. A man with direction does not orbit around a woman's uncertainty. He has things to build. He has a body to strengthen. He has money to earn. He has skills to sharpen. He has faith to deepen. He has standards to protect. He has a future that does not pause because one person became unclear. That is real masculine power, not forcing her to regret, not making her suffer, not playing games, becoming the man who no longer has to beg anyone to see his worth. So tonight, when your mind tells you to check if she misses you, do not check. When your ego wants proof that she regrets it, do not search for proof. When your heart wants to send one small message, do not send from panic. When loneliness tells you to reopen a door that hurt you, breathe, put the phone down, stand up, drink water, walk, train, pray, work, sleep, build. Do one thing that makes tomorrow better because discipline is how a man tells heartbreak, you can hurt me, but you cannot lead me. That is the man she did not expect, not the man who begged, not the man who folded, not the man who tried to force regret, the man who hurt but stayed composed, the man who cared but did not abandon himself, the man who wanted her but did not make her regret the measure of his worth, the man who turned silence into strength, pain into standards, and absence into direction. That man is hard to manipulate. That man is hard to replace. That man is free. So remember this. After silence, let reality speak. Let distance speak. Let your absence speak. Let her experience the consequences of losing access to a man who genuinely cared. But do not sit there hoping she burns those. Build so strongly that even if she never regrets it, you do not regret yourself. Build your body, build your work, build your money, build your routine, build your discipline, build your emotional control, build your faith, build your standards, build your future. If she regrets it, let that be between her and reality. If she reaches out, meet it with calm. If she apologizes, observe. If she brings clarity, listen. If she brings confusion, step back. If she never regrets it, keep walking. Because the deepest truth is this: the goal is not to let her burn in regret. The goal is to become a man who never burns his own life down chasing someone who chose distance. And in the next video, you will learn the quiet signs her regret is real and the warning signs she's only returned to see if the old version of you is still waiting.